Millie Martin Emery from Western Wayne News for Whitewater Community Television. We're out at the Kuhlman Center today talking with voters and some poll workers about what it's like to vote today. Would you mind telling us what it was like to use the paper ballots this time?
It was very simple. It's kind of old school, and I think it went very smooth. Nobody seemed to be having any trouble.
Yeah, well, is there any particular issue or anything this year that really motivated you to vote? Do you normally vote?
I always vote because I believe it's our right. If we don't exercise it, we'll lose it. But most concerning me, like many people, is our economy. So I want people who are interested in the voter, not just in the office.
Well, is there anything else you would tell voters about, to not be intimidated perhaps by the paper ballots, that this is a pretty easy...
I think it's probably less intimidating than the machines were, because I worked at the polls a couple elections ago, and many people were very apprehensive to come forward to the machines. They needed a lot of instruction and help, and with paper ballots, it's just straightforward. You just check off your box. So I think it's much easier, much less intimidating, and everybody should vote.
I started voting. I never voted before until Donald Trump run, and that's when I started voting. I thought the American people need a good change. So that's what might bring me out to vote.
What did you think of the paper ballots this year?
It's different, but I think in a way it's better. That way you know exactly, because sometimes machines mess up. When it's time to vote for president again, I'll be back here.
Okay. Hi, Patty. Thanks for taking time to talk with us today. About how long have you worked at the polls?
I started working when they started the vote centers in 2008.
Okay. And what all changes have you seen since that time?
Oh, we've changed equipment several times, and that's the main thing, the equipment changes.
How's it been going with the paper ballots this year?
I think it's going well. I think people are relating to that a lot better than the machines. I know it's a lot less work for our judges.
And Kuhlman Center is usually one of the most busy places. Has that been the case this time?
I don't know what the other three are doing during this early voting week. We've been running a little over 300 every day.
And is there any advice you would give to the voters about what it's like to come this time if they've never done the paper ballots before?
Plan on taking the time to fill in the little rectangles, and especially with the Richmond voters for the at-large school board, remember it says vote for 2, not 3. We've had a lot of people overvote on that.
So in other words, if they put 3 on there, then that spoils the ballot and you
Right.
need to start back over again.
Right.
It looks like a fairly quick process to even get checked in, and there's not a long wait or anything.
That's right, and it seems to be, most people seem to enjoy these ballots.
And I think we talked the other day about the spoiling the ballots by voting for too many candidates, or
That's right.
are you still seeing a little bit of that?
A little bit of that, but we're trying to tell everybody well ahead of time, especially if they're voting for Richmond School Board. There's like 10 people running, and you only vote for 2. So we figured out what some of the problems were when people were voting for 3 instead of 2 people, why we were having so many of that. So we've kind of tried to talk to people about that, and most of that's been resolved. So most of the ballots, again, are just outside the box.
Well, tell me what it was like to vote with the paper ballots today.
I think it was unique, and I think some people might have a little problem getting used to it, and the sort of thing. But I think it was a good experience.
Okay, so was this your first time using the paper ballots
Yes.
then? Okay.
Yes.
So I saw that you had to kind of go back and take a break and fill in your bubbles a little bit more clearly with more color in the line, so to speak, in the box.
And that's what I did first. I checked it instead of colored it in. So. But it was great.
Okay, and do you normally come out and vote every year?
Yes, yeah, never miss an election.
And have you used the paper ballots before? Has this been your first time, or did you vote in the spring to have the paper ballot practice?
I voted in the spring, Millie, and it's a little different. I'm kind of the old lever guy, or cast your vote, then press your button at the end of the casting of ballots. But it seems sufficient, very simple to use, and was able to get it with no problems today.
Oh, great. Well, any other thoughts or advice for voters today, or?
Well, unfortunately, we live in a society that seems to be split on every issue, and I'm so disheartened in the type of reaction and actions that we're taking to skew our vote, but we're a democratic society. Voting is our voice, regardless of what we feel. We can be civil about it. So let's get off that couch. Let's get out to vote, and let's realize that we're one nation under God.
This has been Millie Martin Emery of Western Wayne News for Whitewater Community Television at Kuhlman Center. Please watch the Whitewater Community Television Election Night's results show starting at 6 p.m. and then visit westernwaynenews.com for more coverage on election night, and then pick up the Western Wayne News on November 16th for more extensive election coverage.